This is Actar's reviews, from anime to figures and beyond. Hey, this is Actar and welcome to Actar's Figure Reviews. Today, it's a review that a lot of you have been waiting for, and that is this. The Robot Spirits Nightmare Frame Gawain action figure from the series Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion. Now this figure is produced by Bandai, and the series Code Geass is produced by Sunrise. And unlike the previous Nightmare Frame figures that were produced by Bandai, the previous ones which were in the in-action offshoot line, this one and the rest of the Nightmare Frames to be produced will be from the Robot Spirits line. Now I have no idea why they did this change, but some of the reasons I can think of is due to the size of the Nightmare Frames, or perhaps the popularity of the Code Geass Nightmare Frame figures has increased, and I'm actually very glad for that, because I love Code Geass. And since this is going to be a pretty long review, let's get down to it without any further ado. Alright, so we see the box first of all, and this one is actually pretty big. As you can see, it's much bigger than the ones that the normal or the previous Nightmare Frame figures came in. And this is of course to accommodate the Gawain's size, it being one of the largest Nightmare Frames ever to be introduced in the series, but more on that later. And yes, there will be some slight spoilers in the series, so if you haven't watched the series, the first or the second series, please, discretion is indeed advised. Alright, so the box we have this red Robot Spirits line. We have the side KMF, perhaps it is to show that this is a side figure, I have no idea what that means. 2008, made in China. We have the Code Geass logo, Nightmare Frame Gawain. But at the back, we see that over here is actually a picture recreating one of the scenes from the series. Here is a height comparison of the figures, which we'll be getting to later. And over here, we have some of the accessories and the poses in which you can get the figure in. And at the top, Gawain. You can see the Gawain using its hard-drawn cannons over here. Right, let's open the box and take a look at the figure inside. First of all, we see this pamphlet over here. Let's take it out, take a look at it. We have Robot Spirits, Gawain. Opening the pamphlet up, we see that this is actually full color, unlike any of the previous figures we have actually received. We have the picture of the Gawain, some character bios. We even have each in-depth description of each of his weapons. We have some line art here included, very very nice. At the back we have instructions for some of the features of the Gawain. And over here we will see that this figure is actually pretty special, as it's made of 4 different kinds of plastic: ABS, PURAM, PVC and PC. I know PVC stands for polyvinyl carbide. No idea what the rest stands for, but it shows that they definitely put some effort into this figure. We have of course here the entire line of in-action offshoot figures, and the next one to be released will be the Guren Kashoshiki, which is the Guren Aero type figure, and I'm looking forward to that. More pictures from the series, and to show some of the Gawain's firepower and capabilities. And that's all for the manual, I should say. And let's take a look at the figure itself. And here we are, the Gawain in all of its glory. Finally, it's here in my hands. First of all, let me just comment on the color scheme. We have nice shiny black, we have gold, orange here, and that's its main primary scheme. The Gawain to me looks kind of like a bat. It is huge compared to the other Nightmare Frame figures, as you will see in a minute. Articulation wise, well, we have ball joints here, full range of motion. The arm can turn left and right and go forwards and backwards. And this is actually a separate joint, as you can move the arm forwards and backwards as well, side to side I should say, and it is indeed ratchet joints. And the legs, we have full range of motion here, as they are on ball joints. Over here we have actually a double jointed here, once above the knee and once below, and they are ratchet joints, so they are pretty sturdy. The head is on a ball joint and can't really rotate 360 degrees, but we have a good range of posability over there. The waist is movable, but once again you can't turn 360 degrees, only from side to side like that. Pretty sure it's due to the design of the figure. Next we have its feet. You can see that its feet, the front of the feet are actually on ball joints. We have a tiny wheel here, and the back of the feet is also on a little joint here. Tons and tons of articulation. It's absolutely phenomenal, I should say. The figure is indeed splendid looking, especially with its shiny glossy surface. Now let's take a look at what else is included before we go through the features. We have, of course, its float pack and cockpit. We have also an energy filler pack to actually recreate one of the scenes from the anime series. And last but not least, we have a mini Zero figure, or Lelouch figure. Now let's take a look at the features of the Gawain figure. One of its main features is, of course, its hadron cannons, one of the most powerful weapons in the series, and which is later implemented in Series 2 as well. And what you can do to open the hadron cannon shells is to actually, there's a little groove at the side here. You would need to actually later flip the top up, flip the bottom up, and there we have it. The hadron cannon is open. I would really have loved it if they include something to attach it to the hadron cannon to look as if it were firing, but since they didn't include that, well, that's alright. The joints are actually on double joints here to allow it to open to such a degree. Very, very beautiful, very amazing. One of the next features of the Gawain is, of course, its land spinners, and unlike the current Britannian models and similar to the Japanese versions, the land spinners are built within the legs. Some people don't know how these work, and what you do to actually open the land spinners is actually to pull this piece back. I found that this is the most the easiest way to do this, and you pull this piece back, slide the entire section down, fold it out, push this piece down, and then rotate the wheels flat so that the entire assembly is flush with the front of the foot. And this is indeed a very, very complex looking land spinner design. We have, again, all three wheels here are actually fully rotational, so to actually put it back, we actually just have to slide the entire assembly back like so, and that's it. Very interesting system and very well implemented. Now, as for the cockpit of the Gawain, it doubles as the Gawain's float pack, and is very reminiscent to the Evangelion's cockpit in the sense that you need to open this back flap first before you can actually open the forwards flap. The cockpit is indeed extremely detailed, and you can place the Zero figure inside like so. It is indeed very firm. It stays in there. It stays in place very well, and will not come off. So just close the top hatch and close the back hatch. And to attach the cockpit to the Gawain, all we have to do is take these two pegs and attach them to the two holes at the back of the Gawain. It attaches pretty firmly, but it is pretty loose at the same time. And of course, the hatch can be opened when it is attached to the Gawain as well, if you would like to take some pictures of that. Last but not least, the final thing that's included with the Gawain is its stand. Now, the stand is indeed 3-jointed. This is not a ratchet joint. You have to actually remove this piece and reattach it a different way. And this one connects directly to the stand, and this is indeed a movable joint. So attach it to the Gawain, we actually have to plug it into the back below the cockpit like so. It stays in place very, very firmly. This is adjustable to allow you to pose the Gawain freely in whatever pose you want. And here it is, the Gawain in all its glory. Everything is attached, and it is in a pose which I absolutely love. So what can I say about this figure? Well, first of all, it is absolutely fantastic. Now, why is this so? It's because of, number one, its articulation is absolutely phenomenal. I didn't really expect this amount of articulation from such a bulky Nightmare frame. I was really surprised. Number two, the features and the intricacy of this figure. First of all, we have its hadron cannons, we have its fully working land spinners, and its cockpit, inclusive of a Zero figure. And of course, its accessories, which of course includes this little energy filler packet, which for you to reenact the scene between the Gawain and Lancelot from one of the earlier episodes. And well, the Gawain is such a fantastic Nightmare frame. The design is fantastic. The Gawain is actually, of course, very important to the Code Geass series. It's one of the main Nightmare frames of the first season, and it's just a fantastic figure overall. And just as a quick size comparison, it's actually double the size of the Lancelot, so it's very nice to see that the sizes of the Nightmare frames are accurate when it comes to the figures itself. Once again, fantastic figure, great detail. The only downside to this is that the price is that of 3 times the average Nightmare frame in-action offshoot Nightmare frame figure. But other than that, I can say that this figure is well worth the money, and if you can get it, I highly recommend getting this figure. So this is Actar saying, See you guys in the next episode.